Seriously? If you're wondering why no one's flocking to book that call with you or schedule your service, it may just be that your marketing game needs a facelift, if not a full-on transplant.
Oh my God.
Between overpaying for Facebook ads, emails that say the wrong things, and lead magnets that are more like when you try to force two north poles together so they create that repelling force field. Okay, may have overexplained that one a bit, but there are all kinds of mistakes that small businesses make that actively work against their bottom line. Clients drop off and profits plummet as a result. Maybe you've been there too. So the first thing you need to know about marketing is it's generally a long game, yet everywhere I look, I see small business owners focusing on the short-term sell. So marketing needs to happen well before you ever expect people to actually buy anything from you. Think about diamond commercials, right?
Buy her a diamond worth 1 month's salary. She'll be sure to love you eternally.
They don't expect you to drop everything and buy an engagement ring. You just got on Bumble, and though you did have a good first date, Claire would think that's a touch aggressive. So it's all about creating an impression. And then once you've passed the threshold of a first impression and hopefully the user's opted in to hear more from you, usually through a good lead magnet followed up by some really thoughtfully crafted email marketing, you want to nurture the heck out of that relationship. Why? Because turning a warm lead into a sale takes work, but there's a huge payoff in the end when you do it right. The average lead who's returning to your website is 8 times as likely to convert into a client as a first-time visitor, which makes you 8 times more likely to not need to borrow more funding from mom. So yeah, you want to do everything you can to get that first timer to come back for more. You're really just establishing the know, like, and trust factors, which are at the base of any good sales strategy. You want your customer to get to know you and see what an expert you are in your field. When they feel confident that you're providing them with tons of free value, they'll feel good about spending money with you. In fact, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, is completely devoted to this key concept. In that book, he says, "Jabs are the lightweight pieces of content that benefit your customers by making them laugh, snicker, ponder, play a game, feel appreciated, or escape. Right hooks are calls to action that benefit your businesses." Essentially what Gary Vee recommends, and I happen to 100% agree with, is to follow the formula to give value, 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 then sell. Think about it like this. If I tried to sell you in every single video, you'd probably tune out and you'd probably stop watching. But if I sell in some of my videos, I've basically earned the right to do so by all the other helpful stuff that I've created leading up to it, and chances are you'll be more willing to listen. Okay, so there's another marketing mistake that can really make you miss out, and that's passing up new marketing trends. Look, I get it, we're creatures of habit, and when we're used to doing it one way, it's hard to leave our comfort zone for something else. But when you never try anything new, you might just be missing some really big opportunities. So let's take a look at what happened at the beginning of the pandemic when we were all stuck inside, hoarding toilet paper and hearing Carol Baskin's name for the first time.
Well, good morning, all you cool cats and kittens.
So she definitely killed her husband, right? Meanwhile, across the internet, something else was making a killing too, and I'm of course talking about TikTok. Now most of us were just watching, right? Or lurking, probably more accurately, but the entrepreneurs who are actually active in creating those short videos for the new platform were seeing massive growth as a result. In other words, the early adopter gets the warm leads. One of those people is ex-business executive turned marketer, Kenya Kelly. She started out lurking just like the rest of us, but she saw the potential in actually turning the camera on herself.
I'll be one of those happy people. And so I just started dancing and singing and doing all the fun things. And I just watched me go viral like 10, 20, 30, 40 times and was like, wait a minute. Like, I don't need to be a genius to realize there's something happening over here and there's a way to make money from this, from how I use Facebook and Instagram. And I just kind of saw some of the marketers doing it, and I said, there it is, I'm doing that, and I just completely changed my marketing plan.
And her results were big, as in millions of views big. Her little startup business went big time practically overnight, all because she was willing to jump on something that she knew was an opportunity worth at least trying. And no, this isn't all about TikTok or any one strategy. My point is, there are always new features being rolled out before you're even done mastering the last one. And I'm not saying you need to conquer them all, but social platforms will almost always reward you when you use their new features that they're really trying to push. So before you write off the next Instagram reel, do your research and see if the hot new thing makes sense for your clients and your abilities. And that brings me to the next marketing mistake, being too quick to jump on a new marketing trend. And if coming from the last point to this one feels like marketing whiplash, let me explain. So staying open-minded and trying new things is definitely really important, but so is taking stock of your abilities and really just focusing on one or two strategies at a time and not giving up on those strategies before they've had a chance to work. And look, we've all fallen victim to shiny object syndrome. Remember when Clubhouse was going to be the next big thing? I barely do either. With all the constant noise in the online space from marketing experts you may follow for advice, and even from watching your competitors and what they're doing, it's hard not to get distracted or wondering if what you're doing measures up. After all, you hear so-and-so just had a 6-figure launch, we should try what they're doing. But instead, you should really give yourself time and grace to really dig into whatever marketing strategy that you've put time into researching so that you can honestly see what's working for you. The sad truth is that most small businesses expect immediate results. And I get it, there's less runway and more pressure for results, but when they don't see a crazy payoff overnight, they abandon a marketing strategy way too soon before it ever had a chance to work. And this next marketing mistake, again, sounds like a contradiction to my last point, but it can do a lot of damage to your business. Not knowing when to shift gears. Now, I know I mentioned that it's important to try new things and to know when to refocus your efforts on your current plan, but it's also important to know when you might just be digging your heels into something that isn't working. The distinction here is really in studying your numbers and comparing what's working and what's not. So we sometimes have a tendency to want to stick something out because we feel we've already invested so much time, effort, and money, even if the current costs outweigh the benefits. This is also known as the sunk cost fallacy. It's something that I learned the hard way when I was trying to make my podcast happen. Yep, this podcast. Hey, it's Wes with a podcast. It's like what you love on YouTube without the visuals getting in the way. With less than stellar results. It just wasn't moving the needle nearly as much as my YouTube channel, but mentally it was still really hard to give up on it because I had invested so much time already. It doesn't really look like anyone's even listening to this. So when you have a face like this, people want to see it, I guess. I guess I should plug this in. Sometimes you're just better off cutting your losses and focusing on something that will work instead of trying to force it. And as I always say, it comes down to the numbers. And I finally came to the realization that my time was better spent right here on YouTube. And bonus points that I get to list YouTuber as my profession on medical forums. Okay, now that you know what not to do when it comes to marketing, what about what you should be doing instead? I've got you covered with all my best marketing strategies. Just click on this video and I'll share all of it, everything from what's working best in Facebook and Instagram ads to content and email marketing. So just click right here and get my entire marketing playbook. I'll see you there.